Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Common Underground. I'm your host, Common. Thanks for tuning in. So I'm going to jump into something real quick that a lot of people have been asking me about in the process of which I choose a graffiti artist of the day. So I obviously have to go on all the platforms, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all the platforms, and go into the groups and scroll through graffiti artists until I see something that stops me in my tracks and think, well, this guy's pretty dope. Does he have more stuff? And this is hard to do because enthusiasts. There are a lot of folks out there who are out walking their dog, walking their monkey, and their pigs, and whatever the fuck they walk, and they see dope ass graffiti on a wall, fill in a mural, a piece, or whatever, and they take pictures of it and go home and post it on the group or on their Instagram or on Facebook, wherever they post it. And I come across a lot of that. And I have no issues with folks that do that because you're promoting an artist. Keep doing that. That's dope. But it does make it hard because I might see something that's dope as hell, and then I got to try to track down who the original artist is, and a lot of times I can't. So that being said, when I do find it, I do see that the original artist is the one posting the pictures. I do send messages to them. I send sometimes emails because they leave their email address, and I follow them. If they have a YouTube channel, I follow their YouTube. I subscribe to them. I send them a message, say, hey, listen, I want you to be my graffiti artist of the day on my blog. If you don't follow my show, here's a link to my show. If you have something you want to promote, you have more pictures that you want me to post for you to promote you and your art, please send it here. If you do not want me to post you as a graffiti artist of the day, let me know. Now, sometimes I may know the person or the crew, and I have background and history with the crew and the person because I've been in the game for a long time. I'll do it either way, regardless. I know that they're not going to hate on me for promoting their art and promoting their crew, but 99% of the time I reach out and I ask for permission and I promote their stuff, and like I said, I follow them, I follow their channels and things like that. So that being said, today was not a difficult task to find the graffiti artist of the day. When I was scrolling through Instagram, I scrolled through something I see off and on, some dope ass graffiti artists that I really never paid attention to for whatever reason. I don't have no idea why. Most of it's because I have so many graffiti artists on my Facebook and on my Instagram and stuff like that I follow and that follow me, and I'm just bombarded with graffiti every day, all day. I see graffiti, right? But I stopped and I seen this today. I'm like, holy shit, yeah, this MATR. And I was like, MATR. I clicked on his page, started looking at all his graffiti, and I was blown away. I've seen a lot of it before. Some of the things that I seen in person in my community, Pilsen, back in the day, was him, and I didn't even know it was him. So shout out to MATR. Bro, you are the graffiti artist of the day. You might be the graffiti artist of the month. Dude, you're insane. You're not just a graffiti artist, you're a real artist. Canvas, murals, piecing. Now, I do know that there are some guys out there that say, well, listen, these guys that do murals and they do piece walls and permission walls and stuff like that, they're graffiti artists, but they're not the same as bombers. Now, in this aspect of choosing a bomber or graffiti artist, I know for sure, even if I had never heard of MATR, I know because he's in a legendary crew called XMEN. That crew right there is old school, legendary, one of the dopest, probably in the top 5 best Chicago crews of all time, in my opinion. That's arguable for some. I don't care. In my top 5, one of the dopest graffiti crews of all time. So I know that XMEN crew would not just allow just any old regular muralist or canvas artist or whatever rep their crew. You gotta be checking all the blocks. You gotta be a bomber. You gotta be all of it. So the fact that MATR is XMEN crew, check that block for me. He's a bomber, he's a muralist, he's a graffiti artist, he's a piecer, he's a canvas painter, he's everything. Outstanding work. Honestly, some of the greatest graffiti I've ever seen. And that's saying a lot. And what's hard is now, tomorrow, I don't even know what I'm going to post as a graffiti artist today. You know what I'm saying? Because you're that dope to me. And your style of graffiti is a style that I like and I prefer to see. So others may think differently and say, well, this guy's better than that guy. Well, everyone, art is subjective. Everyone's got their own style of graffiti that they like. MATR, your graffiti is a style that I really like. I like to see, you know what I'm saying? I like it a lot. So, dude, you're dope as fuck. Keep painting, keep bombing, keep representing hip hop culture, keep representing Chicano culture for sure. Dude, I love your Chicano murals, bro. Keep representing hip hop culture, keep representing Chicago. Shout out to XMEN crew. You guys are dope. Love everything about it. That's what's up. MATR, you're the honorable mention. Cheers to you guys. So, I'm going to make this one a little bit longer today. So, I had rewatched my Riddle BTB interview that I posted the other day, probably like almost a week ago. And I had done this interview a while back, probably like a month ago. And I want to clarify something. I did come off as if I was disagreeing with Riddle on what I thought was right or wrong about canvas artists and graffiti artists that create canvases and get put in museums. And I kind of didn't understand what he was saying, and it definitely went over my head. But then again, after talking to my cousin, he watched the interview and he was like, you know what, I think Riddle was right about what he was saying, and I think you misunderstood what he was saying. So I'm going to elaborate on that a little bit. So, and if you haven't watched the Riddle BTB interview, you have to watch that interview. It's one of the rawest graffiti interviews probably that's out there. I mean, he is 100% authentic, straight to the point, explicit, raw. He says some wild shit, but he's true and honest about everything he's saying. And like I said, he is an OG, been in the game for 40 plus years, a trendsetter in Chicago for sure, and one of the dopest crews of all time, Born to Bomb, BTB crew. So, you know what I'm saying? Anything he says does not come over lightly. Like, people respect him, I respect him, and they look at him as a real OG. Some of them look at him as a legend, even though he would hate being called that. Now, going back to what we were talking about. So what Riddle was trying to come across, or get across, was that he doesn't like that canvas artists who do graffiti on canvas call that graffiti art. So what I thought he was trying to say was graffiti artists who transferred from doing graffiti on the wall to putting their graffiti on canvas and selling their art. So that's not what he was saying from what I gathered and from what my cousin gathered. So what he's saying is, you might get a guy that's been on the streets, in the dirt, bombing for maybe a couple months, maybe a year, got a hang of the can, got a hang of how to use the caps and the new technology that we all have now. And they're like, okay, now I can transfer what I know how to do on the street to canvas. And they haven't put in the time. They haven't gained any street cred. And so now they're doing canvas work, and it's going up in museums and it's going up in galleries, and they're selling their canvases and calling it graffiti art. All right, now, do I disagree with that? No, because I'm not going to hate on anybody making their money. If that's how they make their money and that's the way they do it, shout out to them. Much love and respect to you for making your money. Keep getting your bag. But his point is, in the graffiti world, we don't respect those people as graffiti artists. We don't respect them as bombers. La la la. All right? Completely understand that. Completely agree with that. 100%. And like I said, in the other retrospect of it, there are bombers that's been painting for 30, 40 years, got a name on the street, got street credit all day. You know what I'm saying? Those folks can freaking paint anything they want. They can paint socks and sell them, and they deserve it. They should be in a museum. They should be in a gallery. They should be selling their art online, at street fairs, anywhere they go. They deserve it. They earn that right. They deserve the credit and all the things that they get. And that's all day, and that's where I'm going to stand, and I don't care who agrees or disagrees with me, all right? But for Riddle, I understand what you're saying, and I'm sorry for coming off as if I disagree with you. I just didn't understand what you were saying. But yeah, you're right. Those folks who did what I did here, right? I used spray paint to make my canvases, and I did some extra design with some markers and some real paint. And then I'm not selling those. This is just my podcast art. This is just for my splash behind my head. But if I decided to sell those, and I have no history and no street cred in the graffiti world outside of that, then yeah, I'm not going to call that graffiti art, because I'm not a graffiti artist. A graffiti artist is a person that goes out and paints walls illegally. A piecer is a person that goes out and paints permission walls legally. A muralist is the same thing. He goes out, paints permission walls legally. Now, a lot of those piecers and mural artists are graffiti artists as well. They live in both worlds. But there are some people out there, bombers like myself, who grew up walking the tracks and jumping on rooftops and doing illegal graffiti. I've never been a muralist or a piecer. I just stayed in my lane, and some of them are dope enough to dabble in all sides of graffiti. And that's awesome and amazing for graffiti culture. So I have no issues with that at all. So that being said, Riddle, I hope you see this, brother, and I hope you understand that that's not what I was trying to do. Again, if you haven't seen that Riddle BTB interview, please check it out, as well as the Rome one. He is a dope ass graffiti artist, so I'm gonna tell you guys I'm looking to try to get an interview with a CMK artist here real soon. I've been talking to him. I'm not gonna drop his name, but I'm looking to be sending out an interview and doing the interview and sending out an interview with this guy here real soon. So listen, I appreciate you guys for watching. Oh, wait a second, let me talk about something else. I did finish watching the entire season of The Penguin, and okay, it was hard, because I got to a point to where I'm like, if they do make another Batman movie, I am not going to root for Batman. And I'm a comic book geek. You guys know that. Most graffiti artists are comic book geeks. That's where we get a lot of our styles from growing up. I was like, well, how am I going to deal with watching another Batman film and root for the villain? Because that's really what was going to happen if it kept going on the way it was going on. They saved Batman by having the Penguin kill Victor. Had the Penguin not killed Victor, and that season would have ended the way it ended, but with Victor still being alive, and then he let Sophia live the way he did, I probably would have been like, you know what, dude, if this guy goes against Batman, I hope he fucks Batman up. But the fact that he killed Victor and they did it just right, I'm like, okay, he's a horrible person. He's a shitty person, and I'll accept Batman fucking him up. But this Batman that we got now, Robert Pattinson or whatever his name is, the Twilight kid, you created a real gangster ass motherfucker. That Penguin character with that Australian, where's the guy from? UK? I don't know. I don't remember his name. That dude, who I honestly personally think they should have used Joey Diaz as the Penguin. They didn't have to put much makeup on him. They didn't have to do anything really. They could have just let him walk around being sweaty and funny the way he already is. So I was like, God damn, why did they have to take this little guy and put all this fat on him and paint and mess him all up and make him look crazy when they could have just used Joey Diaz? It didn't make any sense to me, but they did it, and it was spectacular, miraculous what they did to that dude. What's that guy's name? Colin Farrell. Yeah. Shout out to him, man. You snapped. You snapped. Now, you did steal a little bit from The Sopranos. There's a little bit of Tony Soprano in you, but it's not enough for me to be like, well, this is just biting up The Sopranos. It's not enough, but it's close with the deranged mom and a little bit here, a little bit there. But the show is dope. If you guys haven't been watching The Penguin or haven't seen the entire season, get on it, watch it. It's dope. The fact that they're comparing it to The Sopranos, that's all I really need to say. That's all you like. If it's being compared to The Sopranos, that's pretty good. This thing might win an award, and it should have a second season. And I think if they have this guy, the Penguin, go up against the Batman that they got right now, yeah, no, I don't know. I can't see it. This little Batman, he doesn't cut it for me. I think the Penguin would mess him up. And they want to curse, but I think the Penguin would mess him up. So what do you guys think about that? If you guys watch the Penguin and you want to share any of your info that you picked up on the show that I may not know, or some stuff that may interest others and you might want me to talk about, I will. So, hey, that's what I got. Thank you so much for watching Comment Underground. Stay tuned for the next episode. Peace out. Peace, love, and flower power. All right.